morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so welcome back. Everyone seemed to really like the news last week. I wanted to do it again. I don't have as much interesting news, but we'll just see what we got to work with. So Georgia beat Bama in the national championships. The last time Georgia won the national championships was in 1980. So glad you finally showed up to play, boys. In other news, the Supreme Court did deny Biden's COVID-19 mandate. Now, remember, the COVID-19 mandate would say that any business with over 100 employees have to either have their employees get vaccinated or surrender to weekly COVID-19 tests. That did not pass. A lot of people were pretty fired up over this. A man literally was turned in because he was planning to fill his truck up with gasoline and drive it into the OSHA building in Oklahoma City. He was caught before he could do these plans, though. Another crazy thing somebody did was somebody made a homemade bomb and then they planted it outside of the Tulsa Hard Rock Casino under a staircase. It was found by security before it ever detonated. And the man was very easy to find because he was still in the casino, I guess, trying his luck before he blew the place up. I don't know. Something really weird but kind of important, I think, to talk about is last month in Utah, a woman was kidnapped and held hostage for 5 days. She was in her late teens and she had met this 39-year-old man on a fetish website. And when I say fetish website, I'm not talking feet. I'm not talking hands. I'm talking a BDSM type website. BDSM, they're the people, they got the whips and the chains and they tie each other up. And sometimes they do like fake kidnapping ploys. Some of them get really crazy. They do like medical practice, cutting each other open, using like surgical. It's crazy. Okay, so they were a part of that community. And she agreed to go with him. He came and picked her up from her dorm. There's video surveillance of that. And they drove 90 minutes away to his house. And then he undressed her and ended up tying her to a rope that was only long enough for her to like get the food he left out and go to the bathroom. Oh, terrible. And he did not give her phone, but he did allow her to eventually send one text message during those 5 days. And she said to her loved ones, "I love you." And that is actually how authorities were able to trace her back to the location she was at his house. When they went to his house, they could literally see. I don't think they knew it was actually his house. They got it to a pretty narrow location and they were like frantically searching and stuff. And they could see a young naked woman tied up in a basement. And so they knock on the door and he's like, "Hello? Oh, nope, it's just me here." And they're like, "Man, we can see her. We see the woman in the basement." So he, of course, gets arrested. And his story, and that's the reason I want to talk about this, is because he was like, what? Like, that's what she came here for. That's what she wanted to do. This woman was tied up, naked, and covered in coal. Couldn't have her cell phone. I mean, she was basically dependent on it. It's crazy. And I do a lot of true crime, and I hear several stories about the BDSM community where literally somebody like they had these very loosey-goosey fantasies that they discussed back and forth. And then they're like, "Yeah, let's get together and like have a good time." And then they get kidnapped and beat up and just like totally dehumanized. And the perpetrator's like, "What? Like, I thought that's what they wanted. Like, I thought that's what we were doing here." So definitely, if you become a member of that community, do a contract with whoever you're going to meet up with. You know, you need to say, "This is what I want. This is what I'm consenting for you to do to me. And this is what day I would like to leave wherever we meet up alive. Like, I want to be free of my own will on Wednesday at midnight," whatever, right? Something else that's crazy is Bob Saget from Full House died, guys. Like, oh man, I think he was only in his 60s and he died in a hotel room. People took to social media to mourn him. So he was the dad on Full House. I think he appeared on Fuller House. He did America's Funniest Home Videos for years. Very funny comedian. Now he did participate in like the craziest joke called The Aristocrat. Go ahead and Google that. It's nasty. Everybody knows I love pop culture, so I always want to end this with some pop culture related news. Jason Momoa, aka Aquaman. He is single after 17 years, married to, I can't remember her real name, but she's one of the Huxtable kids from the Cosby Show. She played Denise Huxtable for years. Anyway, they were married for 17 years, and they are now getting a divorce. I don't know if they're officially divorced, but he's out there, guys. Bye, Matt. Matt who? Who's Matt? Bye. Anyway. Okay, everybody knows I love to watch a little bit of trashy reality TV. And in the most recent episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, I totally found a cast member that I resonate with for the first time ever. So these three women are at a dry sauna, probably at a luxury spa, but that's just a guess. So they're in a dry sauna. And then for those of you who don't know, a dry sauna is like a wooden room where they make it really, really hot, but they don't use steam to do it. They use like these really hot rocks. Anyway, the room can get insanely hot, like 130 degrees. I don't know. It's a damn sweatshop in there. And the whole point is for you to like sweat out and detox. Well, this lady, they're like having a heart to heart, these three women in this dry sauna, naked in towels, right? They're having a heart to heart. And then all of a sudden, the big bone girl, and that's a compliment. Nothing wrong with that. She literally was like, you guys, I feel like I'm going to pass out. Is it because she's in a 150 degree room? No, she feels famished. She's hungry. Does she ask the spa to bring her a beverage or like a cracker? No, she pulls out a 1-foot-long sub from her designer purse. And she's like, in her towel in this hot room, having a heart to heart. And she's just like literally eating a 1-foot-long turkey sub. And I figured it out. I've always wondered, what would I be like if I was that rich? Like, what kind of housewife would I be? And I've never found one that was like, that's it. That's me. And I found her, guys. I found her. For those of you who are worried about the COVID-19 spread, don't worry. We are going into our peak. And then it is believed that it will drop back down again. Also, our president will be sending everybody an N95 mask. I know. Stay safe. And if you are not satisfied with that, there is a store in my town that is selling individual cloth masks for $13.95. That's crazy. All right, guys, I will talk to you next week. Have a great weekend. And don't forget that this podcast was sponsored by Storytime Podcast, a true crime podcast that I do every Wednesday. I record, edit, and upload a new episode, and I post all the information on Storytime Slayer, my Facebook page for it. I will tag that in here. Bye.